Wing 4 raids, and I'm on a new build. I'm trying out power, quickness, DPS, Deadeye, axe, pistol. So I'm not talking much about mechanics, and most about the DPS. This was pretty good. I think I had a sustained 20 to 21 DPS on this boss, which was good. The idea is every time you get a cantrip or use one, you get, or use a cantrip, you get that, see, a little stopwatch that forms next to it. So when you mark an enemy, you get that little stopwatch that gives you quickness, and this build gives you quickness, might, and fury. And the uptime is amazing, and it's not like you have, and I believe it's a very large AoE effect, so it's kind of nice. They have a couple different kinds of quickness. There's some condition. I want to try power, because I already run Qdps quickness on my Firebrand, so I thought I'd try something with Thief for power quickness. I used to use a staff, but this is supposed to give you more DPS, and the staff has changed anyways. You can't even find it. I got this build from Snowcrows, by the way. You can't even find it on there. So I enjoyed this. This group I was with was very experienced for the most part. We did all of Wing 4 bosses one pull, which was nice. My healer for my sub was a Heal Spectre, so you guys know I love that, and he did an amazing job, as did everybody. And I felt pretty good seeing I was, usually in the top 5 DPS, and as a support that's pretty good. I'm barely above 20k, but as a support that's still respectable. Later in Deimos, I peaked at over 40, but I had a sustained 30 k DPS for a time. So obviously, yes, you don't want to use Qdps quick for this one because the boss moves so much. You got to get greens. If you're skipping greens, this might have been more viable, but we were not skipping greens. That's I think somebody had a heart they had to do, so we didn't skip greens. But even given that, I thought this worked very well. And again, I'm new. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had just put this build together and tried it out on some fractals, and that was it. So I'm still learning the rotation, but overall my quick and might and fury uptime are fine. It was just the DPS I need to work on a bit more. We're now at Mersad Overseer, the Golem, so you'll see here my DPS is more consistent around average 25, peaked at 26, but it held strong, and again, for a support DPS, I thought this was very good. I think once I get more familiar with the rotation, it will get better. And this one is definitely fine with either power or Qdps because this boss doesn't really move a whole lot. And where this is ranged somewhat, it actually was more doable, so it doesn't really matter if I was Qdps or power. And you see everybody high DPS, that's why this boss melted so fast. And you can see on my bar and in my sub, I did my job keeping quickness, might, and fury uptime, which was nice. So things that give you the icon for quickness is your heal skill, that skill I used right there, which is a little port, I can't remember what it's called. Then that one, my skill 9, that resets the mark, so you get like 2 free marks, which is nice, or 2 free cantrips to use, the stopwatch for quickness. And then the last one, when you use skill 0, you're going to use that and you're going to go stealth, so you use skill 1. There is a part of the rotation where if your malice is high enough after doing a certain technique, you get that axe stealth one's called something salvo, which is supposed to do a lot of damage. That's the part I need to work on, is running the malice better for the marks, the little dots over the health bar. So I need to work on that some more. Okay, this was Samurag. I did okay here, not pleased. I mean, 16k DPS, which usually regular DPS used to max out around 18 to 21. See, I hit 17, peaked 18 there for a second. There's 18 again, 21. Okay. So in the opening, but the other guys are, yeah, we're all up around there. I guess I don't feel too terrible. But here's the problem. See, I had to use headshot for CC. That really will mess with your DPS because now you're spending initiative for that instead of your skill 2 and skill 3. So the ideal rotation, for the most part, in basic terms, is you open with a mark, you use your F2 skill to give you quickness, then you're going to use your skill 2 twice, which throws 3 axes each time, and you see that counter above my health, or my heal skill in the utility bar, that axe with a number on it. You can have up to 6 at most time axes. That's the time when you have 6 that you want to use skill 3. When you use skill 1, you're still leaving an axe on the ground, but a quick way to build that up is skill 2, which is why managing your initiative is important for this. So basically I'd use mark, so F1, then F2, 2 twice, 7, use 7 again, which ports your 2, which increases your damage for a time, then you hit your skill 3, which converges the axes on them, and then you will use other cantrips to bring up your F2 skill again, so you can continue to keep up with the quickness and stuff, and in between that you're going to use Cunning Salvo, that's what it's called. It's the stealth and using the skill 1. I've been using my elite skill for that, and also using that to grab more time pieces off the F2 for upkeep of my boons. They do recommend that if you'd run into something with a lot of CC, there's a spear variant for this, which I don't care to learn, but that's the one they recommend. But I still made it work. My DPS went down a couple K, but I nor my commander were really concerned about that. And who knows, in the future I might try other professions with power quickness, like, you know, Revenant does one, Warrior probably does one, so those sorts of things. Okay, so there when you use 7 again, I use skill 3 because that's when your power's at the highest. So yeah, I made it up into the top 4 DPS, so that's pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about that, especially as a support. So you don't have to get Arc DPS. I held up for a long time, but for me, having it really helped me see what my numbers are doing and how I could maximize my rotation and why rotations are important. Because before all that, I used to get kicked from a lot of, before I was using any raid builds, I was trying to come up with my own builds just because they were fun, and that's all good for having fun, but I think it's more fun to do more DPS, so that is where I started getting into that, and Arc DPS helped me make sure my rotations were a lot cleaner. And it's not just about knowing the rotations too, because you need to know the mechanics of the raids, such as sometimes you might need to hold the skill a little bit longer because you have a dodge mechanic coming up or something like that. So combined, that's what really helps you maximize your DPS. Because you saw Masar Overseer didn't have a lot of mechanics, just straight on the Golem was pretty easy. Well, that's because we had a good claim, good dispel guys on there, which made it a lot easier. And you saw how we just cleaned that up. So it looks like we struggled with the friend mechanic here. That was a close one. Some guys, one guy gets me down later on. Some guys might have just been focused on the rotation of the boss, especially when he had the little green circle. I know that's hard to see. Whenever I see the big orange circle, I kind of wiggle my own tune around and see if there's a green circle underneath it. Otherwise, it's easy to miss. We had a harder time pushing Rigum underneath Samarug in this second portion, but we made it work. Okay, Rigum's out, Rigum's down, and now we're gonna finish Samarug. Watch out for the staff slam. It was cool, I got another Samarug Spire off of this, which was nice. I just wish I could like sell it. But I can use the salvage on to get me more research notes, which is always nice. It's funny, after focusing on World vs. World for the last year, I didn't realize how much I missed doing raids till I got into them. See, we managed at that time. I had to make sure I saw I was green, so I followed the orange guy. But the next one coming up, I'm the orange, and the green guy just didn't happen to notice it in the chaos, and that's all good, it happens. We've all done that, we all still do that. It's kind of like you do green so much on Doom, sometimes you get up there and they're just not spaced very well. So here it is. I'm going to come off party, and he didn't see me, but at least I stayed off party. Okay. I'm still able to keep my boons up, which is nice. And that is the end of Samurag. So I cut through the chains part. We're going to start on Doom right as we come up top. Here we go. Now I'm going to peak it over 40k, I think maybe even to 50k in the opening, but that happens with everybody, so it's not too much to brag about it, but it does have a decent start burst. So you're going to see 27, 32, 43. So yeah, it looks like 43 is where I peak, but then I hang out, 45, nice. Then I hang out at 30 for most of it. But then as phases go on, it drops, and yeah, that was pretty good. And at one point I missed the green and I stay up, and that kind of messes with me. But this was good, I think. We one pulled this one, Deimos. Okay, we got Saul the Thief. He's just getting the beat down. Okay, love them pizzas. Can't believe I still got the timing for that. So this build's good for Deimos too, in the fact that it's easy to pop. Again, it's AoE boon delivery, because people can, as you can see, get spread out there because you're moving around, watching for oils. Conde again is usually the better option for this boss to move around, but since I'm ranged, that's fine. The one thing I gotta caution you on is to watch out for using your skill 7, because it's a port when you activate it the second time. Make sure you're not porting into oils. You'll see one point I activate it, but I don't use it the second time because it would have thrown me right into some oil. Here's where I screwed up. You see I'm in the wrong weapon set because I swapped it just out of habit for a weapon swap, so then I had to swap it back. So my DPS took a big drop. Luckily, we have a grace period of popping up to get away from the oils, and everybody knew what to do. Okay, see, I ported over the oil, that's okay. There's a pride coming in, but these guys are aware of it. I think he gets focused down pretty quick. Yeah, there he goes. And we dodge. Watch out for the oils right in front of me. See, I'm not going to reactivate it there. It was right in the oil pile where I'd use skill 7. Thought I could make it back after getting the tier. Didn't realize you already had an oil kiter, but I'm going to stay close anyway. Because I don't want to be the reason that we have oil somewhere it's not supposed to be. So I stay tight. At least I remembered how to do that much. Because I hadn't really done this much. I think I did this once, a few weeks ago, but before that I hadn't done it in a year since I turned my focus to World versus World. But I think I'm getting to a point where I can come back to this, so I have something a little bit more, one, to offer some people to watch or maybe learn about on the channel. I hope I have more to teach or help people out with me. That's why I do this channel. But it is fun. I like to watch as I edit and even watch it to the final run through. I learned so many more things about how to play better for myself, so that's kind of nice. And I do have a video coming up again where I do some kiting on Deadeye for Qdps, so you need that. And right there, that's my healer back there, Spectre. It looks like the hand kite was dead, and I think he took over. So this guy gets the true MVP. It's great having him in my party. And near the end there, I was more sustained 21 Qdps. But again, I think that was really good for Deimos. I just want to grab that tier from back there, and I let my man do the hand kiting. Remember, dodge just before the fist drop unless you have stability or Aegis. Can't remember if stability helps there. I know Aegis does. I think it does. Alright, and this is it. We're going to put him down. This was a great run. Thanks. I really appreciate the commander letting me. I told him up front that I was going to be practicing this again. This is my first time using a raid, and I only use it for about 40 minutes, if that, in a fractal. So that was nice. It was one fractal I did. I think it was Molten Boss. Either way, I think this is a very good build. I'm going to probably do more with it in time. Hopefully this has helped you. I'm sure I could play it better with more practice, but it doesn't take long to figure it out, especially if you play Thief. So hopefully this is helpful to you, and thank you for watching, and have a most excellent day.